Did Jesus somehow need to be made perfect? I.e., was he not already perfect, or was he lacking something? It's the question that's in the text. It's the one that jumps out at us. And of course, I'm going to say, no, he wasn't lacking anything, and yes, he was perfect. But I want to see it from the scriptures. I don't just want to see it because I believe it. I want to see it because I believe it because God spoke it. And so the word here used for perfect, which actually I really don't think is a great word, but in our English translation. Anyway, the word here for perfect, the root word is teleasu. And it means complete. And it was used all over the ancient world. So Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, obviously spoke Greek. He said it meant to be completed. It was complete when that word was used. So Jesus, salvation was complete through suffering. Okay. Plato, it was matured. The Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament, uses that word when it's talking about a ritual completeness in the Old Testament law. Philo, contemporary of the writer of Hebrews, who spoke Greek, Jewish scholar, uses it in 2 Chronicles 8:16 to describe the temple being complete. Or when fruit on the tree is ripe and ready to eat. Or when describing a woman who is about to go into labor. So this perfection of Christ has nothing to do with his identity. He is perfect, eternal, the Son of God. He is complete in that sense. His identity is not lacking. It's not in how he lives his life, but it's in the task that he has to do. Our salvation was completed through Christ's suffering for us and then with us. We see this word appear in another derivative in a famous moment upon the cross when the 3 words in English drop out the lips of Christ. It is finished. One word in the Greek, tetelestai, same root meaning. It is finished. It's done. It's complete. Salvation is here. The work of Christ is complete through suffering. Why? Why? We have to ask the why question. Because as Christ suffered, why did the Father choose him to suffer? Why? So we can truly pass to his people as one who has suffered also. So when they come to him in their suffering and their weakness, in their pain and their sorrow, they come to a God who is not distant, but a God who intrinsically knows what it's like to be human. Christ is the senior pastor of every church. And that suffering also, the death that made the atonement complete. Without Christ dying upon the cross, there is no mission complete. It's not there. We haven't got there without the cross and the rising. Only on the cross and then the subsequent resurrection do we see the full deity of Christ put on display. Romans 1:14, Christ is seen as God at the resurrection. Mission complete. So now let's think that through in light of our text. God, make the founder of our salvation, complete through suffering. Our salvation is complete because Christ suffered in our place for our sin, and he suffers with us, and he suffers for us to redeem his people from the law's requirements, to take the punishment of the law, and to reconcile us back to the Father. That is how it is complete. That's how Christ completes his mission.